answer you guys all now. We're being recorded. Um, how can I set up Thinkorswim to scalp options similarly fast like I do on Schwab? All right, the thing is, I don't know how to use Thinkorswim or other platforms like that. The best way to do it would literally be to contact Thinkorswim and ask for either setups or whatever. So on Thinkorswim, here's their numbers. I mean, you could call them like 1-866-839-1100 and just ask them, say, my goal is to buy a contract as soon as possible. How do I populate the fields? A good way to do it would be if you can have like 3 level 2 boxes. You type in the name in one box and the other two populate with the first out of the money option with um, the earliest expiration or however you want to do it. I know Schwab gives you that ability. You need to ask if it's even possible on that platform, and if it is, then set it up accordingly, Rick. If it isn't, might be time to switch. When is the alert box for levels coming? That is, I'm gonna have to talk more with Colton on that. Like recently, we just got Colton posting on Twitter. As I promised you before, there's more to come. I can't give you a time frame because it's not fully in my control. If I had to guess, I would say probably within a couple weeks would be my initial guess, Eric. Gary, do you have a good link to basic tutorial settings on using TC2000? Sure.
What's going on, everybody? Today I'm going to be going over how.
Okay. Try that link. Copy that link. That's one place. You could probably find 100 others, but that would be a good place to start on that one, Gary. Michael, when you give us the training for faster TOI, I'm not going to train you on how to use Thinkorswim because I've never logged in Thinkorswim. If you wanted to be part of Charles Schwab Street Smart Edge, the best thing I could do is offer my layout. Again, as a disclaimer, it's meant for paper money trading purposes only, demonstration purposes, not for real money account, but it would give you an idea of what you can do at that point. But I don't know. I've never logged in Thinkorswim. Thinkorswim might not be an optimal platform to trade upon. Maybe it is. Maybe some people do it faster. So, on Thinkorswim, I see a lot of you guys use it. It's very popular. Contact them and see if you could do the same thing that I can. So let's give you guys a little bit of a demonstration. So because I don't know if Thinkorswim is optimized for that. I know people love Thinkorswim charts, for example, but I'll just give you an example here. Um, I'll give you an example here of Schwab. So I would say so like right here's my Schwab, and these bottom 3 boxes are the only thing that matters. So for example, like in this box, so if I type in, let's say I want to buy Boeing, so I'm clicked in here inside the box. I hit B, A, enter, and automatically you see how Boeing automatically, because it printed 405 and a quarter last. That's after hours. It printed 405.25. It immediately brings up the 407 and a half calls, February 15th expiration. I could leave this on market or limit. My default setting is 100 option contracts. You could lower or raise that as you need, and I could buy it immediately. So for example, like you see, I click here, then my button goes to buy to open. So let's say I was doing a chatter play. So just to let you know, let's say we were doing Kimberly Clark, and I'll move in slow motion for you, but you could imagine how fast this is. So right now, look, K, M, B, enter, left click. I just bought 100 options for a market order on the 116 calls expiring February 15th with one button. I mean, one click button. So I hit KMB enter, left click, 5 actions to buy 100 calls market order on KMB. Now, the way I have it set, if you see right here, and again, I don't know if your platform can, if it can, beautiful. Some platforms are better than others. You'd be surprised, or maybe you wouldn't be surprised, how many people switched over to Schwab because they want this layout. Now, you might or might not be able to get this layout with Thinkorswim, like a similar mentality layout for speed. I don't know. So let's say, for example, I hit AT&T, right, which is letter T. So I hit T, enter. You could see AT&T. Well, let's actually use Verizon. That's better. VZ, enter. Now you see Verizon closed at 53.95. So automatically in the middle box, I have my calls, and it pulls up $54 calls because the stock closed at 53.95 for next week, February 15th. So the first out of the money call strike, which is 54, with the lowest expiration, which is going to be next Friday. Now on the rightmost box, it actually shows me the puts, and it's pulling up the $53.50 puts because the stock closed at 53.95. So with the $53.50 puts, I would be able to mark it in to those $53.50 puts if needed or limit in that are also expiring next week. So I have the $54 calls and the $53.50 puts, and I'm ready to go either direction with a preset number of options. Again, you could change the preset. Mine is 100. You could raise or lower that, based on where you are as a trader. So that is speed. Can you do that in Thinkorswim? Like I'm showing you exactly what you need to do. 3 boxes, you type in one name, it pulls it up automatically. Now look, if I needed to change it from here, yeah, I could scroll to different expirations. I could scroll to different strike prices. If I had to do something like a straddle or a strangle, like there's buttons right here, I could click straddle or whatever. And then you could start do vertical, whatever, call spreads, etc. Then you would be able to, take your time and set up your trade. But if you're looking just for speed, like for example, when I did KMB, you know how many people in the I'm guessing hundreds of people in the room made money on Kimberly Clark, right? Is my guess. And when I said, guys, there's Kimberly Clark chatter, I'm buying Kimberly Clark right here. Do you know what people did? They said KMB, enter, click, I'm in. Oh, look at my P&L shoot up. Done. You know how many people did that? Simply because they had the right layout to do that. Now there's some people that if I said, but if I asked you right now, how long would it take you to buy Kimberly Clark right off the fly? Some people will answer you 30 seconds or 25 seconds or depends if I was in front of my computer or not. I mean, there's a answer for everyone, but that is your ultimate goal with a trading platform is to get to the point where you don't have to, where you could just simply hit, a button and get to where you need to be. There you go, George. Yeah, again, I'll help you with telling you what you need to do for the setup, but I'm not, the company will put on an expert who's way beyond what you and I are on any software, Schwab, Thinkorswim, etc. But I just showed you an example of what you want to accomplish when doing so. You left Thinkorswim for Schwab, yeah. Robert, do I always set a hard stop after entering a trade? No, I usually don't. I usually don't. I have found hard stops to I have found hard stops to be more of a nuisance because if you're in common stock, it becomes, should I put in a hard stop with common stock? Probably. With options, you never have to worry about a stop loss again because you only bet what you're willing to lose. The thing is, if you bought 1,000 shares of Apple and you wanted to risk $500, you would have to put in a stop loss. If I wanted to risk $500 in Apple and I was doing it through options, I would just buy $500 worth of option calls and a stop loss would never be necessary ever. And that sort of blows people's mind because I don't blow up. I'm very consistent and I don't use stop losses. Yep, just did, Richard. Thank you. Thank you, Marlene. Yeah, that's the thing, Farm. Breaking news is breaking news, and you couldn't prepare for it ahead of time. You wouldn't be able to prepare for that ahead of time on, like a breaking news like the Kimberly Clark. That would be more of on the fly type movement. But if you could accomplish what I showed you, and this is being recorded, so go back and look, you'd be in good shape. Is there a plan for T3 to launch a phone app where we can get all the alerts, videos? The videos are on YouTube and Facebook, so I don't know if they would be streaming from a T3 app. I don't know if it's going to be an app, actually. That it might be. I would be unaware of it. I know they're doing it where you can start connecting to the VTFs in room. You don't need to have a gaming keyboard to do what I do. No, that's. I do have a gaming keyboard. I mean, because I'm a gamer and it's pretty colorful and whatever, but no, you do not need a gaming keyboard. You don't need anything remotely like a gaming keyboard to do what I do. Yep. Yeah, Carl, so Thinkorswim is probably not optimized for speed. And again, I know it's a lot of I know it's uncomfortable to just change the software and everything takes getting used to, but for me as a gamer, as Kathy pointed out, in gaming keyboards, if speed is important for you, if like catching the one and dones and things are important for you, you need to be fast. You want to catch breaking news plays quickly. How fast can you buy something? You're using the word quickly, right? If it's not important to you, it's not important. But if it is, you would need the right tools for the job. Where do you set the defaults? I don't know what you mean by that, George. All right, so buy to open means you open up a position. Sell to close means you're selling to close it. If you sold something to open, you would be short it. If you sold something to close it, you would be trying to get back to zero. All right, so for example, don't overthink it is the right answer, Carl. If you buy something, let's say you buy 20 option contracts of any given name, how many do you want to sell? How many do you want to hold on to? Decide that before the stock moves. Maybe you throw up an offer to sell all 20 of the contracts 10 cents higher, 15 cents higher, and just throw a limit order up right away as soon as you buy it without sitting there looking at the stock waiting to decide. That way you just lock in the money and you don't care and you move on and the trade is over. Other times you want to sit there and watch it and you want to be very quick manually with ready on a market order to exit your position if it goes against you. Every situation's different. I think the order is going to be live in your waiting status, Art. Make sure you cancel any orders that you did in Schwab or any other thing. Good question. Yeah, Lee? Awesome. Definitely. How do I get the three charts of orders, Roland? It's part of your setup. If you so what you need to do, Roland, is just repeat after me. Call up whatever, I don't know what software you're on. Whatever software you're on, call up and say, I want three level two boxes. I want two of them to be calls and puts, and I want one of them to be the common stock. That's how I have it. So I have common stock on the left, calls in the middle, puts on the right. Very simple. Uh-huh. Yeah, it's true. Look, I see traders, certain traders can deal with psychological toxicity better than others. You know, the truth is, you have to be winning on the majority of your trades. And if you're just putting in hard stops all the time, show me how good your P&L is. And then there'll be another trader who swears by it, but 99% of the people can't follow them, or make money with them, even though they can. My point is, most people have some form of toxicity in them. Most, not all. And, by removing the risk element ahead of time where they understand, all right, I'm risking $500, it's not going to get worse. When you're trading common stock, the problem is when you're risking $500, if you're risking $500 in Apple, you're not buying $500 worth of Apple. So, for example, Apple's $170 stock as of now. You're not going to buy 3 shares of Apple and say, I'm risking $510. Then you'll be fine. But, you're buying tens, if not hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars worth of Apple when you buy some common stock, even though you might not plan on losing more than 500 a grand or two. That's where the disconnect comes in with risk reward. And you have to be very quick to do that. If you want to be slower and just take advantage of it ahead of time and not worry about the stops, you use my methodology. And you're never going to get toxic. You're never going to blow out more than you risked. You want to risk $500 on Apple? Buy $500 worth of calls. You need to use the bathroom. You need to step away. Your system goes down. The company halts and files bankruptcy. The stock goes up. The stock goes down. Breaking news comes out. You're going to lose $500 no matter what. In the absolute worst case scenario. Usually you won't lose $500. But if you approach trading like that, I humbly believe you'll be less toxic and more successful. And I have a lot of evidence that supports that. Could I place again the Street Smart Edge screen again? Sure. I gotta just log in. Please hold. I logged out. Probably shouldn't have logged out. All right. So I'm gonna answer this now. If you want my Schwab layout, it's a file that you can only open up with Schwab Street Smart Edge. If you want it, this is what you have to do. I'm telling you right now. You have to send me an email saying, Mark, I want your Schwab Street Smart Edge layout. I am only going to use it for paper trading and demo purposes only. I understand that you are not responsible for anything I do with it. If you email me that, there's a good chance that you're going to get a copy of my trading layout. Okay? That's how you do it. If you're like, Mark, send me your layout, I'm going to be like, do you understand that it's for this? Repeat it back to me. Yes, I understand. No. Repeat it back to me. Write it down. You have to understand what you're getting into. I don't want to get in trouble for doing you a favor. And, you know, uh, it has to be that way. And I'm sure you guys respect it. I don't know any other gurus sharing their layouts with other people. Keep that in mind. So here, Pedro, here's the layout. Yes, yes. So, for example, Kathy, if you want my layout, I only use it to trade. I don't use the charts, despite the fact that I have a chart on the system just by default. But no, you just have to use my layout. And what you do is you could literally call Schwab and say, I want to add this, I want to do this. And they'll just, even today on a Sunday, they'll just walk you step by step. They're one of the best customer services out there that I've met. No BS. They don't waste your time. They're the best customer service I've dealt with. Um, and yeah, you don't have to be a programmer or program some software. You could just get my layout, Kathy. You would just have to email me and say, Mark, please send me your Schwab layout. I understand it's for demo purposes only, and I promise to hold you not liable for anything that I do with this software layout. And if you email me that, You can have a copy of my layout. Yeah. I've never used it, Deuce, but if you're saying you can do it, I'm sure you could do it. Just try to get it down like this. How to get rid of the review order? Call your company and ask them that question. I'm serious. Just make a phone call to your software provider. Say, can I speak to tech support? They'll put you on. Ask them. They'll give you the answer. hmm Would I recommend trailing stops? I don't know. I don't recommend or not recommend them. I guess for some people it's good if you open a position, you want to see how far it runs. I personally don't use them. That doesn't mean they're not good for people. Sure, I know people use them effectively, Michael. I'm just not that person. Thank you, Dave. That's correct. So what Rob is saying is correct. I have TC2000 set up for the charting, and I just use Schwab for execution. Gives me great price improvement. You know how many times I'm dealing with like options that are like 29 by 30 cents, and I market order to sell, and they fill me at 30 cents, like on the offer. I'm like, thanks. Schwab is like, when it comes to routes, Schwab is, from what I found, the best on Wall Street. We could both throw in a market order. We'll both get different prices. Let's put it that way. How I have my chart screen set up? Sure, I can show you that. Let's pull it up. So I have two charts set up. One of them is what you see like this, the four chart setup. That is what you generally see. What you don't see is this, where I have 9 chart setups here. And I could put them either like all on the 1 minute. I could switch them to the 5 if I'm moving to another strategy. So when I was giving you the guys the names on Friday, this is how I tracked them all, just like that. Very simple. Just click New Tab here, and you'll see it's a starter default layout right here. You just put in chart, and then you just edit every chart and save it when you're done. Very, very simple. Okay, that's how I have it set up. 9 charts. Um, Yes, absolutely. And that's how a lot of toxicity starts. You know how many people get screwed because their software went down? Like the ever so shitty crud fecal matter filled fusion goes down, as we saw. And you're sitting there and like basically customer service is in nicer words telling you to go Ford Motor yourself, to go Ford Motor yourself. And then you deal with that. Schwab is good. That's why it pays to go to a. I'm sure Thinkorswim customer service is great too. I have no doubt, as is Interactive Brokers. Go to a multi-billion-dollar company, especially publicly traded ones, and you'll be fine. You won't. That's my opinion. No, Kathy. No, Kathy, because it's completely customizable. Schwab wouldn't legally have the right to share with you my layout, even if they had it backed up on their servers. Would you be able to talk to a geek and try to set it up as close to mine as possible? Sure. But the exact layout with every single parameter, you probably wouldn't want every single parameter. You'd want to design it more for you. But the simple thing with the 3 boxes you're referring, if you were referring to that, would be good. Can I share my moving average layout? Yes. I simply use the exponential 8, exponential 21, simple 50, simple 200. I'll type it out. 80 EMA, 21 EMA, simple 50, simple 200. Just throw that on your 1 minute, 5 minute, and daily, and you have everything that I do on the moving average side. No, there's a base fee on Schwab for options trading. I don't know if you can negotiate with them to remove it. Maybe they can. I don't know. Amen, Rob. This will be in the portal not only tonight, but when I'm done with this session, Matt, it'll be on 2 minutes later. This session that we're doing right here. And yes, it'll be on tonight, and as long as the T3 portal remains open here, it will be there. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Thinkorswim, Kathy. I don't know. I wouldn't know. That's all right, Jeremy. I use freestockcharts.com, a paid version, which you see right now, and I use TC2000, a paid version, which I just showed you the 9 charts on. I use a paid version of both. To me, it's the best charting platform on the planet. Right, George? Get amazing price improvement on Schwab. That to me makes it so worth it. Especially when you have to mark it in a few, like especially if I were to buy like 1,000 options and it's like, oh God, I gotta mark it in this thing. That's when I fall in love with Schwab. What company's the 9 chart layout? It's freestockcharts.com and TC2000, both. I've never traded through TC2000, so I wouldn't have that answer, Michael. It's a good question. Fidelity gives good ones too, Kathy. Thanks for that. Nice, Issa. Oh yeah, Eric? Nice. You set up your account with Schwab, they'll give you an hour setup call of your software for free. They'll do it for you regardless, but that's nice that they put it out there. Very cool. Appreciate that, Cliff, on TD Ameritrade. Yeah, the stock is OTLK. It's in your portal, Sumish. So, look, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys enjoyed this little acclamation session. Again, if you are interested in my Schwab layout, you can't open the file on your computer. You can only open it through literally Street Smart Edge. You do file, load, and you literally load the layout. If you do want the layout, you have to email me, mark.melnick@t3live.com. Put in the email that you want my Schwab layout, that you understand it's for demo purposes only and paper trading account only, and that you're holding me absolutely harmless and not liable for anything you do with that software. If you do those 3 things, I will reply to you and send you my exact layout. Just make sure you do that. Otherwise, you're going to be like, Mark, I emailed you and you didn't send it. I'm going to say, did you mention those 3 things? So just make sure if you didn't, that you re-email me and you ask for it again. Again, I'm not going to be liable for any of your trades. You're not going to send me a check if you do well either. I mean, it works both ways. I'm going to type it out for you, David. So, um, so yeah, it should be interesting with OTLK. It should be an interesting name. There's a very good chance I take a sizable position in the company, um, obviously, and we'll see what happens. But nonetheless, I hope you guys enjoyed this acclamation session. I'm going to upload it to the Newsbeat Live levels. Happy trading, make money. I'll see you guys tonight for the Newsbeat show right here on the Newsbeat Live trading broadcast. Have a wonderful, wonderful Sunday.